All right, today is still April 20th and it's getting dark out here because of the rain. I really should manage my time better. That's something that God is working with me on. So I spent a lot of time in my head today and not being able to get out here earlier when it wasn't raining. So it is what it is. Lesson learned. Well, let me rephrase that. A lesson I am learning. That made me remember I heard a song lyric from when I was little. I used to watch on Nickelodeon this show called The Little Bits, and I woke up singing like, "We're the Little Bits," and the lyric in there said something like, there's a lesson to be learned, and this is, if there wasn't another one, I know for sure that goes here because I need to manage my time better. God has been on me about this for a while, and I just need to push through and organize my life a little bit better. Managing my time is a big time struggle, and I know I mention ADHD all the time on here, but it is something I have to deal with every day. And so in my head, I think about all the things I have to do, and then all the things that I have to do to get those things done, and then other things that will pop up. And by the time I've run every scenario through my head, I'm exhausted. I've mentally drained myself, and I can't manage my time. So we'll see how this goes on this journey of managing my time better. I've got old videos where I talked about managing my time better. So obviously it's been quite some time that I'm still working on this. So anyways, let me get a drink of water. I want to say, number one, I am not a doctor. Number two, I am not a health advisor. I'm not a health coach. I'm not a health provider. I am telling you something from my dreams, something I heard in my sleep, and the things that God led me to look up. So I'm asking you to take this to God. Everything that I'm telling you, take it to God. Anything that anyone tells you, take it to God. Like, that is the best advice I can give you, is to take everything from my videos, from anyone else's videos, from people you talk to in person. Take everything to God, okay? One song lyric I heard in my sleep is from a song called God's Menu by Stray Kids, and the lyric says, I do my research. So I'm asking you to, after you hear this and after you take it to God, if you want to do some research on it, please do so. I'm going to share some articles in here, but not the whole article, because I'm requiring you to go take it to God and go look up the information further on your own time if you choose to. I also have a song, I'm not sure if this is what it's called, but this is the lyric that was in my head. It was, "Let me clear my throat," and I know it's by DJ Cool. And it says, some of y'all might know this and some of y'all don't. Some of y'all might be with this and some of y'all won't. But listen, let me clear my throat. So again, it might be something that you are interested in. It might not be, but that's okay. And it might be something you already know, but I didn't know it, so I'm going to share it in case there's somebody else who didn't know. I got led to October 13th. Like, I heard the phrase October 13th, so I opened this to October 13th, and it says, I've given you my wisdom and knowledge so you'll teach and give to others. So this stuff that I've gathered and learned and experienced from these specific things, I'm sharing them. Now, this has been going on for over a 2-year period, just little bits here and there over 2 years, and now I'm finally at this spot where God's like, wrap it up. Another drink. So the title of this video is Deodorant and Agatha. And to start, I'm going to rewind 2 years ago. This is a personal thing. I think I have, what is that in my hair? Oh, it's just my white hair. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was so shiny sometimes. So my personal story with this is about 2 years ago, right before God had placed it on me to go ahead and get myself baptized, like in the water. And I have a video on that called Immerse Your Heart in Jesus, something like that. At that time, I had started to experience this pain in my right breast, right behind my, what's in the center of your breast, right behind that in the tissue. I felt a lump that was painful, and it was the size of a nickel. And I was like, oh no, what is going on? Please let me just call my doctor and make an appointment. The next available appointment wasn't for 2 months. And so I went and I got baptized, and after that, God was placing it in my heart and my mind to switch out some products that I was using, okay? And on top of that, a random YouTube video showed up, and God was like, I want you to watch this. And I was like, okay, let me watch it. And it was a guy who was describing the lymphatic system as kind of like a garbage disposal. And I'm going to focus mainly on armpits because I'm talking about deodorant. When you sweat, your body is getting rid of toxins and things out of your body via sweat. So you sweat in your armpits, you sweat in your groin, you know, your body is pushing out toxins through the lymphatic system. And I got this from WebMD because, again, I'm not a doctor, so I want to tell you what it says on WebMD. And it says lymph nodes are small, about 1 to 2 centimeters around, or the size of a couple of AAA batteries side by side. Oval or kidney-shaped structures that are part of your immune system. They're part of your lymphatic system, which, along with your spleen, tonsils, and adenoids, help you fight off illness and infections. They also filter germs, cancer cells, and waste out of your lymphatic fluid. You might be able to feel some of your lymph nodes as bumps in your neck, armpits, or groin, but usually only if you have an infection you're fighting off. Usually you don't feel them or even know that they're there. So I was led to stop using these. I had a spray deodorant and other like bar deodorants that were antiperspirant. They smelled good, but they also stopped you from sweating. And I switched to some deodorants that will mask, you know, like a BO smell, but they allow you to sweat. And recently, when the comments were on, someone had posted something about a Lumi commercial. I knew that God was giving me more confirmation to talk about this, but I don't know the background of Lumi. If they're in a controversy, I have no idea, so that's not why I'm here for that. Or I don't know if they had an inappropriate commercial. I think that's what the comment said. I have no idea. For me, it was just because I had recently bought a Lumi deodorant, and I also have this Dove Teens Vanilla Cupcake Yogurt. Both are aluminum free, so I'm able to sweat but not be stinky. And I also am kind of interested, I've seen several videos God led me to before talking about this, like back at the same time when I watched the video about the lymph nodes, how to make your own deodorant. And so I think I might venture out and try that from All Natural Products. Let me turn my page. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about some other things that I heard in my sleep. A while ago, like a long while ago, maybe last year, I heard the phrase think pink. This fits in multiple scenarios, but it also fits here. And I'll get to that in a minute. But I also heard, in one night, I heard two specific words. And then I heard a phrase yesterday. So the first word that I heard was the name Agatha. I don't know who Agatha was. I just woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, Agatha. So I heard it and said it. So it may have been my own voice that I heard that woke me up. I have no idea. I had to look up who is Agatha. And the first thing that popped up for me, I don't know if it's you, if it happens that way for you guys if you type in Agatha. But for me, God gave me exactly what I needed in that moment when I was like, who's Agatha? And I know nothing about saints or anything like that. I'm not Catholic. I don't know anything about that, but I'm just going to tell you who Agatha was. And I would never have known this had I not heard the name Agatha in my sleep. So Saint Agatha, here goes that rain again, but I'm thankful for it. Again, I'm just trying to tune out the sound. Apparently I have a sensory issue with the sound. I'm sorry, and if I'm screaming, it's because in the car it sounds so loud. So Saint Agatha is cited in the martyrology of Saint Jerome, the calendar of Carthage, and other works. Although she was one of the most venerated virgin martyrs of Christian antiquity, the traditional particulars of her being a martyr are of little historical value. Palermo and Catiana are both mentioned as her possible birthplace, and tradition holds that she was born to wealthy and noble parents. Having consecrated her virginity to God at a young age, she resisted advances of a Roman prefect sent by the Emperor Decius to govern Sicily. Her profession of faith and rejection of the prefect resulted in her brutal torture, during which her breasts were cut off, a condition often reflected in her iconography. During her imprisonment, she famously had a vision of Saint Peter the Apostle, who is said to have comforted her and healed her wounds with his prayers. She was sent to the stake, but according to some accounts, as soon as the fire was lit, an earthquake occurred, causing the people to insist upon her release. She then allegedly died in prison. So Agatha has been given this, and I didn't copy and paste on my paper further or far enough, but she's also referred to as like the saint of breast cancer, because what had happened to her was they tortured her by cutting off her breast. So that's where she kind of links in with breast cancer. Now, before I mention the other word that I heard on the same night as I heard Agatha, I want to talk to you about a phone call that I had that morning. So I heard the name Agatha in the middle of the night. Later in the night, I heard another word. And then in the morning hours when I'm awake, I had a phone call with someone. And when I was talking to that person, they mentioned to me that they were going to visit their friend who I know had recently, within the last year or two, told them that they had found out that they had breast cancer. And so I immediately interrupted them, because this Agatha thing and what I had heard in my sleep was so fresh on my mind. It had just happened. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to tell you this crazy thing that you're bringing up breast cancer. And I just found out about this girl, Agatha, and the other thing. As soon as I mentioned to them that Agatha had her breasts cut off and that she is linked to being the saint of breast cancer, the person I was talking to gasped, like, and I was like, what? And then they told me that their friend that had cancer had their breasts removed, but unfortunately the cancer is now back. And so I was like, well, that is not a coincidence that I heard this in my sleep and I'm having this conversation right now. And I mentioned breasts being cut off, and then this person that they know, that I know too, had their breasts removed. Now, the next day I was going with a person to a doctor's appointment just to accompany them. And they went into the bathroom and I waited outside, and then a woman started walking down the hallway, and she got my attention because she was wearing a covering on her head to cover her hair loss, and also I'm pretty sure she was wearing a breast cancer shirt. So then I ran into someone, or I saw someone, I didn't speak to this person, I don't know them, but it was another thing about breast cancer, and I'm like, okay, you are really putting this breast cancer thing on me right now. And a month after that, so actually a month ago, I went with someone else to an appointment, and I sat down, and on the windowsill was a wooden like decoration that had a breast cancer ribbon painted on it, but on the ribbon it said "Think Pink." So I was like, okay, so now some stuff is like going through my head, and I'm like, are we talking about this? Are we wrapping this up? So I'm gonna go back to the night that I heard the name Agatha, and when I went back to sleep, so I heard Agatha, I got up, I looked up this stuff, and then I went back to sleep. Then I was woken up to the phrase, or the word, Ivermectin. Yes, I know that's a name that you've heard for other reasons, but I'm telling you, it goes with this message. Yesterday, I heard the phrase clinical trials. So on one day I heard Agatha and Ivermectin, and then yesterday I heard clinical trials. So I'm going to share with you just snippets of some articles that I found when God led me to do some research. There's a website by City of Hope, and it says City of Hope scientists have combined a checkpoint inhibitor with an anti-parasitic drug, ivermectin, to successfully treat triple-negative breast cancer in preclinical research, according to a study published March 2nd in 2021 in a the NPJ Breast Cancer Journal. And then it said triple-negative breast cancer is a difficult type of cancer to treat because the tumor cells lack 3 key proteins: receptors for the hormones estrogen and progesterone, and the protein HER2. Doctors now treat breast cancer based on targeting these 3 key proteins, but without them, triple-negative breast cancer has limited treatment options. Got hair in my mouth. The next article is just one of several articles found on the National Center of Biotechnology website. And it says, and like I said, this is just one snippet. It says ivermectin has powerful anti-tumor effects, including the inhibition INHIBITION, I can't get that word out, sorry, of proliferation, why can I say that and I can't say the other one, metastasis and angiogenetic activity in a variety of cancer cells. This may be related to the regulation of multiple signaling pathways by ivermectin through the PAC1 kinase. Y'all, I can't. On the other hand, ivermectin promotes programmed cancer cell death, including apoptosis, oh my gosh. Y'all, I should have practiced this before I came out here. Autophagy, AUTOPHAGY, and pyroptosis. Ivermectin induces apoptosis. It's mutually regulated. Interestingly, ivermectin can also inhibit tumor stem cells and reverse multi-drug resistance, and exerts the optimal effect when used in combination with other chemotherapy drugs. I hope my phone is still charging. Let me see. Hold on, this is gonna look weird. Yeah, it's still charging. Okay, and then I put in here that I've also looked up other information from other places like YouTube, and one that I am going to put the link in is from a veterinarian who, this channel, they normally talk about how you can different ways to treat dogs, and one of the favorite things that I like about this channel personally is because I have dogs, but they talk about medicines that you can buy over the counter at the store that are safe for dogs. Like when they have an upset stomach, you can give them Pepto-Bismol. Do your research, look it up. But in this video, he starts talking about clinical trials about ivermectin being used to treat human breast cancer. And so he gave some really good information in the beginning of the video. The video is 8 minutes long, but he says a lot of informational things in like within the first 5 minutes. So I'm going to put that link in the description. So if you want to spend just 5 minutes even of that video, just seeing that I'm not just picking whatever I want to put in this article or in this message. I want to tell you again to use discernment and to take everything to God. Do your own research. I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical physician. I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm none of those things. I'm literally, again, I can't emphasize this anymore. I'm sharing you some information that I was led to based off what I dreamt. Okay? And before I end this, I want to go back to when I mentioned that I had to make that appointment for that lump in my breast. Again, it was a nickel-sized lump, and it was painful, and the appointment was 2 months out. God led me to change my deodorant, and I did. And that lump went away before that appointment even came about. So I think I had a week to go before that appointment, and they called to confirm, and I had forgotten that I even scheduled it, because in the 2 months that I was waiting for that appointment to come up, by switching my deodorant, that lump, it was gone, and the pain was gone. And so I can tell you from experience of that lump that was there, I don't know if it was cancer. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you, it was the size of a nickel, and it hurt, and it felt swollen. It was, I can't explain it, but trust me, it was painful. And my husband felt it too, because I was like, what is this on my boob? What is this thing? You know, I was worried. I switched out my deodorant. It could have just been a clogged lymph node. I mean, who knows? I never even had a reason to go get it checked out anymore, because I did what God had me to do, was change my deodorant. And I think I started to say this, but the cherry on top of all of this information was I had a vision of a nickel, and on that nickel was drawn a red heart. A nickel is 5 cents. A red heart often symbolizes love. The Strong's Greek number 5 means Abba Father. So all of this ending it with a love, comma, Abba Father. So anyways, guys, take that to God. It's just cool. And I can say that changing my deodorant did relieve the pain I was feeling in my breast. So always find the light. Take everything to God. Thanks, y'all. Bye.